esports, we are still at the beginning, and giving context to data is super complex. Technology and stats and insights can really help doing that.
It has been a day of series that have all gone the distance. We're going all the way to a Game 3 yet again, and this one is finally going to be the game that actually decides which of these teams is going to be the first one to make it to the winners portion of the bracket. My name is Rich. I'm going to be your host, and I am joined by Nahaz and Tsunami. Let's actually talk about how EHOME was able to bring this one back, though, Nahaz.
Alliance had a really interesting game plan in this one, and I kind of liked the concept at first. The Batrider in particular was just playing on the enemy side of the map. I mean, Boxy he stole a huge stack from Terrorblade at about the 5-minute mark. He actually was in the middle of getting another one at about 7 minutes when he had to TP to defend his own mid-tier 1 tower. But they were never able to translate that pressure on the enemy side of the map to actually pressuring the lanes and converting kills on enemy heroes. This Alchemist had a 12-minute radiance. At 25 minutes in, he was 0, 1, and 1. It never really got into the game.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing some of those most important moments of the game. We're going to get to take a look at all of them, but it goes back to something that was kind of touched upon in the draft as well, making Alliance start to move away from what has allowed them to even get to this point in the day thus far.
Yeah, and I don't know if I can pin it on like any one hero. Like Boxy was doing a good job. I thought the Monkey King and the Pango were fulfilling their roles. Alchemist farmed very, very quickly, but as a 5-man unit, it just didn't seem like they were able to enable their Alchemist as EHOME really enabled their Terrorblade.
Well, was he though? Because we were watching this game off camera, and at 5 minutes in or so, I see him take this triple stack, and I was like, oh my God, he's stealing all TB stacks. This bat is going to be huge. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Why is this net worth so low? Right? The success that they were having playing on the enemy side of the map, it wasn't translating into actual pressure on the lanes. And EHOME was like, fine, you guys want to contest our jungle, we'll farm lanes and then just pick you off. Exactly.
And so I like the approach, but I don't know, maybe like this Pango Monkey King situation, I don't know. I'm still struggling to see like what was the issue that Alliance had, which normally whenever I see a draft or a fairly early victory, then I'm like, okay, your supports weren't very good, or your team fight execution wasn't strong or something like that. For here, it just seemed like the Terrorblade, the Terrorblade was basically keeping up with the Alchemist in net worth, and that's never a good sign if you're an Alchemist player, especially with the Radiance. And TB was participating in all the team fights. He had Solar Crest on him constantly. He was just a far more formidable force with what should have been a more net worth advantage on the Alchemist.
I mean, I think what you're seeing is what you've described there is just very characteristic of one team playing how the other team wants to play. Right. One of the things that we looked at the very beginning of the day, there was a stat up where EHOME only averages about 0.6 kills per minute in pro play. Like, they're a team, they don't like to be forcing kills around the map early on. They want to dictate where those fights occur. They don't like being fought into. And Alliance is a team that has, at least over the last few months when they've had success, they've forced the early action, and they just never really got that going in this game.
No.
Okay, so you think this is a case of Alliance playing directly into the hands of EHOME?
Yeah, I like the concept of, especially against the Terrorblade, when you have an Alchemist and they have a Terrorblade, and you're saying our basic approach to this game is we're going to make sure our Alchemist has a lane and a jungle, and their Terrorblade doesn't have his neutrals. Like, that's not a bad concept, but when in the process of doing that, you sacrifice tower pressure, you sacrifice these pickoffs, you sacrifice this laning presence, which is something that all through things that Alliance has done very well over the last couple of months. I feel like you're just giving too much up for one particular aspect of the game.
Do you think that this is also something that EHOME was able to do with the amount of pressure that they were able to get in the draft and actually helping Alliance to form what they did form coming into this second game?
I do think EHOME kind of railroaded Alliance into not necessarily this strategy, but they knew where Alliance were going with it. I don't know if they were confident that they would be able to see where the Alchemist was going, but they knew they were systematically taking out heroes, and they weren't targeting one specific role. They weren't like, we're going to take out all of Mike's heroes or all of Taiga's heroes. They were like, okay, this Morphling was once an issue, this Koik for Lone Druid's an issue. We'll start targeting these specific things that Alliance have shown strength in, and then try to take advantage of their shortcomings.
At the same time, though, when you look at those 10 heroes, like, do you have a problem with that alliance draft?
No, which is
Like,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
the thing. I don't really mind any
wrong.
of these individual heroes. I just think they didn't play the brand of Dota that has made them successful.
To be fair,
this season.
it has been a very long day for them.
That's true. That's
And
yeah.
so sometimes you're just not in the game.
When you play a 3-game set, the last of which goes to almost 70 minutes, and you have to turn around 20 minutes later and play another BO3 against an even better team. That's
Exactly.
tough. That's tough.
So I am chalking a great deal of this up to them just not playing up to their par. I don't particularly blame the draft.
This is really, this is so telling.
He's
I mean,
doing
Alliance had been so good. This is something that I've criticized them for in past seasons. This season, they've been so good at bringing that early tower pressure. They had two, in spite of struggling a little bit overall, they still had 2 of the 6 fastest tower kills in the entire tournament at Birmingham. They really never brought tower pressure in this game.
Their heroes weren't good at it, though. They didn't have anyone who could easily siege. Like Alchemist, he can do it, but he would rather be farming neutral camps. So Pango, Monkey King, they're not really going to go siege. The supports, like Shadow Shaman's great at it. EHOME picked it up. The supports of Alliance were not able to push structures at all.
And so maybe in this very conversation, maybe we've hit on the biggest issue with the Alliance draft.
Perhaps,
is that, on EHOME, you've got this Leshrac, you've got this Shadow Shaman, natural pushers. Nobody in the Alliance lineup really has that same kind of natural pushing presence.
For sure.
Okay, so maybe we finally figured out what exactly did go wrong there, but I think that's something that Tsunami did touch upon, the idea of maybe being at the end of your ropes at the end of the day. Are you going to be able to play the best Dota that you can? And they definitely do need to. I mean, if you're going to look at Alliance and what they need to do to try to get themselves to the major, this is a very good start.
It's not just about playing the best Dota you can. It's about you, particularly when you're tired and particularly when you've had some adversity, you got to fall back on your strengths. And this is not the Alliance of 3 or 4 years ago where they're trying to rat, they're trying to draw out games. This Alliance squad wants to fight, wants to pressure objectives. And when you look at those kill counts, right? When your top 2 cores are 3 and 2 kills for the game, that is not how this particular Alliance squad is going to win Dota games.
I mean, Alliance like to do that, but then why do I always see them in 50-minute plus games? What goes wrong there?
Well, because again, that's the risk of establishing that kind of an identity is that other teams, when they're prepping for you, they're trying to take you out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the first things that we said today when we were talking about Alliance was this is a team that's pretty good at getting themselves in some of these situations, but sometimes is going to be struggling to close. So has that been an issue, though, in this series? Doesn't really seem like that's the case.
Yeah, I not so much this series. This particular game, they didn't even get their foot in the door, and so closing the game was not even an issue. It was opening the game that was the issue. And in game 1, they had no issues closing the game there, which was marked a difference. But I think it was just mainly EHOME's draft that were not really able to hold on long enough to even give Alliance a chance to do that tug of war.
Well, in the individual execution standpoint, in both of the series so far that we've seen EHOME in today, they looked like they got roundly out-executed in game 1 and then came back in game 2 and it's like you woke the sleeping giant.
Very beginning of this series, we brought up that history as well that they've had on the day. It looked like they were exactly as Nahaz suggested, asleep in that first game. It didn't look like they were playing at all, and then all of a sudden, second game, third game, absolute dominance. Are we going to see something like that in the third game here? Have we woken up EHOME yet again?
I rely more on EHOME to, even beyond just their Amber Gesta series, I think EHOME are historically, that's why they show up to so many DPC events and prove to be qualifier juggernauts in China because they are really good at adapting. And unfortunately, against tier 1 teams, they don't get the opportunity to adapt in time. But in a 3-game series against another minor team, I'm leaning towards EHOME making their draft more solid in the final game.
Yeah, I think that what you just said is a very good description of the EHOME that we saw earlier this season. I have not, at least in the last couple months, I've not seen the same things from this particular EHOME roster as we did earlier on and at CQ going into some of the other events. I don't think this particular EHOME squad has shown the same kind of solidity top to bottom. And I think this Alliance team play style is something that is going to give EHOME a lot of trouble if they actually play their brand of Dota.
Right. That's what makes tier 1 teams so interesting, because I think even though a lot of times, like, you know what a lot of teams are going to do, that's what, like, everyone knew what OG was going to do at TI8, and everyone was expecting, like, this is the game that, you know, finally they're playing against an opponent who's going to figure them out, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
And that's it's something that you can't really put into words, but it's just such a unique aspect of what makes a tier 1 team a tier 1 team.
And Sin said something similar earlier today, and it's funny because that's not been an anomaly at TI. When you look at CDEC at TI5, you look at DC at TI6, you look at OG at TI8, it was the same thing. Oh, well, you know, okay, what they're doing is fine, it's cute, but they're going to get figured out. And it turns out, okay, yeah, you finally get figured out. It takes until the grand final, right? And OG, not even then. So I just think it's very powerful in Dota because there are so many. It's such a mentally demanding game. The games go so long. The series and the days go so long. It's just so important to have that style and have that sense of team identity to fall back on.
Just don't want to be too strong of an identity, because Alliance, they could do with a few more personas. I think they need to show a few different hands. They tried to show one here. It did not pan out.
And I think we're going to find out very quickly when we actually do get into the draft right now what persona they will be trying to put on. Is it the one that we know of them very well, that EHOME obviously knows from them very well? Also, are they going to try something new? Are they going to try to put on a new outfit and strut all the way to that upper bracket, that winner's portion of the bracket?
Still banning out Quakefa, still banning out Taiga.
Yeah, I really want to see, because I think what changed the last draft a great deal was the third Sven ban by EHOME. That all of a sudden, and there it is again, all of a sudden a hero that Alliance had just been kind of, it had been their staple, their go-to in the first phase for Mike, it's now off the table.
So they went for the Oracle last time, whenever this was the situation. And I again, like, I had no issues with the Alliance heroes.
Oracle to me is still a hero that I rate in the first phase. I mean, I think you can go Warlock yourself if you want, but I have no issue with first overall picking an Oracle.
And EHOME's Leshrac has time and time again proven to be very solid. So
you expect to see okay, Sand King is off the table once again as it was. So yeah, you expect to see them go right back to the Warlock Leshrac. That's not okay. So again. This is EHOME with this AA first phase is saying trialing.
Okay.
They're saying we are gonna at least threaten the trialing. We're gonna make you think about that in your draft. Oracle, you know, some of the nerfs that he's had recently, he doesn't have that great high attack damage anymore. You know, his trialing presence is a little bit hurt by that.
So. Is AA really your first, like, is the AA because of the Oracle and the healing probability that you're like, okay, if we need to pick a trialing hero, like, you know, maybe, you know, Grimstroke, we don't need to go for a Grimstroke, let's go for an AA because this Oracle's on the field? Or is it like a comfort thing where you like, I just like AA, let's go for it?
I think it's, if you're looking for a direct counter to Oracle, I think there are better direct counters to Oracle.
I agree.
Like, I don't think that's it. I think if you're picking AA at this phase of the draft is because you want to put a lot of pressure on your opponent to answer your lane configuration potential. And where the tiny plays into that is interesting as well, because then you start thinking about, is this a 5AA 4 tiny, or is there some 2 flex value for the tiny as well? It's not
not
for
necessarily
the AA.
We see some mid AA. I don't think China likes it very much. It's more of a Western thing. But I would love to see it.
It's more of a VP thing.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. I think this is probably going to be 4-position tiny. I don't think you'll see. You might. Was it Faith Beyond that was like going Octarine tiny for a while there?
Whoa, I never saw that build. That's amazing.
Yeah, back from the minor.
Which one? Dota Pit minor?
No, yeah, I think it might have been Dota Pit. Might have been the one before that. But I think it was Dota Pit. I think it was Faith Beyond that was playing like
that's amazing.
Like Octarine tiny or some crazy shit like that.
That's hype. Then wait, but Faith Beyond wasn't playing at Dota Pit.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Do you remember that was Faith Beyond specifically?
No, I don't remember that. I remember that there were a couple people
Are you just
experimenting
making
with
stuff
these
up,
crazy
Naz? Are
tiny
you
little-
making me look
I may
dumb
be
here?
having a senior moment right now. Yes. Yes.
I'll back you up.
Yes, rich aficionado of Octarine Core Tiny, of course.
All right, chat. All right, thank you.
I was playing it.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh my God.
One of your 2 Dota games, perhaps?
5
Hey.
seconds remaining.
Don't oversell me to the chat. Now they're going to start expecting things.
It's only been one.
Oh, man, I'm not going to talk about my Dota games right now.
Back.
Definitely not going to do that.
It's too late in the night for that.
Definitely something.
So still respecting the Nyx as a counter to the Batrider, and the Omni Knight was also proving to be useful with a strong dispel. Legion Commander, Abaddon, still viable options for EHOME if they want to go that direction. I don't think Boxy's lassos were enough of an issue, nor do I think that
10 seconds.
EHOME's Terrorblade was getting low enough that you need to worry about protecting him with like getting rid of the lasso. I think you're better off just protecting him with having, you know, the Solar Crest that I was a big fan of in the previous game.
It was all the way back at Bucharest that I'm thinking of.
But it did happen.
That Faith Beyond was playing these
But it
crazy
did happen.
tiny games.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I like it.
That bothered me enough that I actually had to look it up.
Well, I'm glad you resolved it because I had never seen the build, and I would love to see it.
Dire team
What's eHome's overall plan here? We talked about a lot of the possibilities. Are they accomplishing what they accomplished in the beginning of the Game 2 draft and starting to railroad Alliance a little
Well,
bit?
okay.
With the
so,
bans, yes. With their picks, I have no clue.
Yeah, the picks, again, I agree with that. I think that the problem with these kind of cute drafts where you pick something like an AA, you pick something like a Tiny, you put very specific pressure on the opponent going into the second phase, but you now have to show your third hero first.
Yes.
And so you've got to start connecting these dots somehow. You
Sure.
can't just keep being cute here.
That's pretty much opposite of what I've been going for.
Well,
Your time will come, Rich.
Keep being
Yeah.
cute.
People will
Yeah.
grow wise to your shenanigans.
Keep being cute.
no, they really won't. Anyway.
Let's just keep being
Okay.
cute. eHome.
And it's, so I really like this. We saw this from Windstrike earlier, but you talked about Tsunami, the fact that eHome showed us a look that we hadn't seen from them as a team early today, where they were playing basically without a hard carry. And
Correct.
I think Wraith King is a nice compromise between like a Lesh safe lane, which is really unusual, and a Spectre. It's a hero that has some scaling potential, but still plays with a hell of a lot of tempo.
And still suspiciously feels kind of close to Leshrac. You know, you've got a stun that works very well in a tri-lane.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of push potential with your skeletons. And you lack in magic damage, obviously, but there's no like Sven on the field or anything like that. So you can go all in on right click. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and this is more than likely going to be End playing this Wraith King, and he's the kind of player
Yeah.
that you would expect, like using the jungles, using the
For
skeletons
sure.
to farm neutrals and putting up these crazy Wraith King numbers. But that's I really like that as a response.
So you think you stick that in eHome's tri-lane? Make sure they don't get a little too cute.
I do. I like Earthshaker anytime as a tri-lane here. I mean, you now the caveat of that is that you have to have one and preferably two Earthshaker players that you're very, very confident in to pick him in that situation. But I think Alliance have that. I mean, both Boxy and Titan. And again, at this point, we all but know it's going to be
Boxy
a
Bat.
Boxy Bat
Right.
and a Tiger Earthshaker. But again, I think they're confident enough in those two heroes that, okay, and that, all right, this also 3-position Tide Hunter on eHome.
What's
makes it so
Batrider
that
gonna do now?
Huh?
What's Batrider gonna do now? What lane does he go to? Sorry, I didn't mean to derail your thought.
No, the thought was going to be it still preserves a little bit of flex value for that Tiny. Although you'd expect that 3 melee course feels pretty shitty. You
Yeah,
expect the last to be arranged.
I definitely think
Yeah.
it's more of a faith beyond Tide Hunter.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
How do you think Alliance is going to round everything out in Haas?
So I would Lone Druids off the table. It's interesting because Alliance usually does not save Quix's hero for last. If this is any other team, I say that this is for sure going to be. I think you could go potentially right back to the Monkey King here because you know you're going to have 2 melee cores out of 3 lanes, right? But maybe you want to pick something. I still think the safe play here is to pick a stable tri-lane carry from Mike.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that Alliance really needs to grab in these next 2?
Well, you need I mean, they need their 1 and 2, right? That's you need your safe laner and you need your mid for max. And ordinarily, if their drafting template would be they pick their mid hero here, but I think I really want. I'm really worried about EHOME's ability to force the lanes. But then again, in game 1, Alliance showed that they were not afraid to make the laning phase a little bit messy with that Timber pick.
How did you end up liking that, by the way? Because that was the most visceral reaction you've ever had to anything.
No,
I actually think it was the casters who were like, wait,
yeah, Blitz
Nahaz,
made fun of me.
Yeah. He said something along the lines like, Nahaz, everybody's the best player in the world. Every pick's the best pick in the world.
I love that pick. That's a great pick.
That meme goes back to a long time ago, like one of the first times we worked together. Blitz and I were on a panel together, and I was saying something nice about Navi, and Blitz was like, dude, Navi hasn't won anything in 4 years. And he kind of got me. And then afterward, we go off the panel, and he was getting the biggest flame fest I've ever seen from Navi fans. Like, everybody was just flaming the shit out of him. So he flames me for being too positive all the time.
That's a good thing though. That's a positive trait. Don't let negative people like Blitz discourage you from being a positive
My whole thing is there's
person.
enough negativity in Dota.
Exactly.
but no,
be the counter force. Be the counterbalance to that.
Dire team pick.
All right, we are going to see the mid. All right, this is a very safe lineup here from Alliance. It's very easy to execute. All 5 of them have some experience on the hero they're playing. This is a very good game 3 at the end of a long day kind of draft.
Let's see mid AA. I want you to see you
dude.
screw over this Death Prophet, this Juggernaut, and this Oracle. I want you to see you get an early Aghanim Scepter.
No, I think they'll go something like, I don't know, like Ember here or something for Ferrari.
Against an Oracle, not likely.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Flame Guard is gone. Yeah, good call.
SF. Medusa.
That's not what I thought we were going to see.
Intriguing.
Okay. Well, if Medusa gets the time and gets online, she's going to be really hard to kill.
A hot take, Nahaz.
But I don't see it happening.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, I don't see it happening. I think this lineup is so in Alliance's wheelhouse. We're going to win the lanes and we're going to roll the game.
It's vintage Alliance. I'm going EHOME.
Okay. All right.
You're going EHOME? Who are you going?
I am going Alliance. I just think this draft is how they like to play Dota.
Okay. All right. Very fair. That was something that we said we really did need to see. We need to see that the correct brand here. We're split on the desk, and I do want to bring up the fact that before we even started the series, we brought up some of the history in the head-to-head that had actually happened. Haas reminded us that these guys have gone head-to-head before. It's currently 50-50. This game's going to change it, and this game's also going to decide who is going to be making it into that winner's portion of the bracket first. Let's find out which team it's going to be.
That's right, the 9th and final game of day 1 here at StarLadder. And we've got a Medusa last pick. It seems like EHOME are going to continue on their concept of having, being able to 5-man a decent amount with this 4-man aggressive lineup plus a late game carry. Similar to how the Spectre game should have gone, maybe?
Yeah. What were you smiling about, by the way?
Nothing that I can talk about on stream right now. So thank you for bringing that up, William.
What was Naha saying to defend himself? What was he saying? He was bringing me up in something about Navi fans or something? I want to hear this.
He was talking about the meme of, which I'm not sure if Alan has got to understand this. There is no one event where his positivity turned into a meme. It's been constant. There is no one event where it was like,
Tiger's just gonna run
that
away
one
from
time where Alan really liked all those heroes that were picked. Oh, what a
nice
Fisher!
block.
Oh, Tiger!
Oh, that was.
Oh, bringing out those claws. Rawr.
Ooh, that was good. That was good. That was good. It's not a bad thing for Alan to be positive. Like,
No, no.
dude,
We make fun of that because we really like Alan.
Yeah, like dude,
and we make fun of our friends because we're assholes.
I see a quality in Alan that I will never have, which is just enthusiasm for life. Like, I'm just waiting for this shit to be over.
Yeah, honestly, if you guys have ever watched Blitzcast Dota, he's literally just lounging, watching the games at all times.
I love Dota, and Dota's the only thing I love.
Dota is like the
I
most
need that shit
passionate
injected
thing in
straight
his
into
life.
my veins. I have nothing. I have no passion for anything else. So people just decide that they don't want me to cast. I'm done. I'm over it.
You had a good run in life.
I really did.
Is that your not so subtle play to make sure that people always
on you
support
guys
you
at
in
that
casting?
Oh, that was dark.
You guys are set up into a real dark situation.
Also,
at this point,
Alan says like, he was afraid because like Navi fans hated on me. It's like, I'm okay with that if I'm honest. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, like if you had secret fans hating on you, you're like, oh shit, I got to deal with that forever.
There's like at least
but
300
like
of
Navi
those.
games, it's like 1 in every 300 games you cast, you have to worry about the Navi fans coming
Now
back
that
at you.
Dendy's not on there, there's like 8 people that send me hate mail. But beginning of the game, nice. Another fissure block onto Ferrari, but Koikfa has the Crypt Swarm leveled up level 1, so not really going to be able to take advantage of that with the Spirit Siphon early on.
Yeah, is that expected? Right? Oh, Faith Beyond. He has Anchor Smash first, so I'm not sure what he can't crack and shell off these napalm stacks, so he's just kind of dead. You dead, boy.
This is okay. They've done this 3 times now, where Faith Beyond has had a very disadvantageous matchup to the enemy offlaner.
Yep.
And it shows. And Boxy has been on fire
They
today.
also picked the Tidehunter into the Batrider.
Yeah.
So, like, the Batrider was picked up when there was the potential tiny AA. They wanted to make sure they had an offlaner that could win a 1v1 because of an aggressive tri-lane coming out, potentially from EHOME. They get exactly that, and
he's dead again.
They get a situation where they're gonna kill him again here.
I don't know what Faith Beyond was doing there, but he let himself get sticky like 4 times.
Yeah,
and
he's like, good old Kraken Shell will save me.
He uses TP, by the way, so he's just...
Yeah,
his game is just done.
The long walk.
This reminds me of EG when S4 just TP'd up to top lane against that secret tri-lane and he just died.
Toss back the Oracle, good setup. Insania turns around, tries to get as much damage onto Innocence as he can, but it's still not enough for Mickey to commit with the spin. He would have taken too much physical damage anyway. So, yeah, picture of Faith Beyond walking back.
Dude, that guy.
Our props production, that was well played, well played.
That's a real, this is my life now face. Oh, my Lord. He's not having it, dude. He's still not there. He's actually slower than the creep wave.
The creep wave is ahead of him. The
Oh my
range creep
God.
is the range creep's out of the picture now. Nice block in. Ferrari is actually going to just TP straight over to the tier 1 because he knows Taiga does
Dude,
not
these
have
rotations
a secondary
of Taiga,
stun.
though.
Yeah, he's really getting it right now.
And the fissures.
I mean, this is really one of those. I guess this is one of those dream scenarios. I mean, I wouldn't like trying to gank for. I like ganking for Death Prophet, but I don't like trying to gank a Medusa.
Yeah.
With an Earthshaker, because it just feels like you just never have enough damage.
You can do it when the Juica hits 6, or when the DP hits 6.
Yeah, when you
Then
finally
it's
have
like, no
exorcism. Toss over to the side, gets him away from the spin, but there's going to be Taiga right there, and it looks like Mickey's fast enough to be able to catch up. A cute little play from our Tiny. We'll see whether or not Neverend's going to be in trouble next, as they don't have another Fissure, and the spin's not up right now, but they're still going to try and go for the kill. And looks like Mickey is doling it out pretty heavily to Neverend. Won't commit, though.
Oh, the boys are on him, man. Taiga wanted to go for the chase and then the mango pop, but the boys are on him. They're on the cake. Look at these men in uniform.
March, march, march.
I salute you. Look at these guys. They're still on it.
All right,
That's
They
loyalty.
finally lost. They finally lost vision. They're going to recorrect to the tier 1.
And I always talk about hitting the mid tower.
Oh,
Look at
the mid tier 1 tower. They listen to your cast, William.
boys are beasts for sure.
Faith Beyond in trouble again. I think they thought that somehow this matchup is fine because of Kraken Shell, but let me tell you, Blitz, it's not. Because if you look at the level 1 Kraken Shell and you look at the damage threshold, if you're saying to yourself, it's okay for me to take X amount of damage to finally take that off that sticky napalm, it's not. It's not okay. Koifa's in trouble here. battling out. Fairy Fire does manage to get another Spirit Siphon. You're out of mana on Fry for 30, but it looks like he's being sandwiched in as Innocence picked up the Haste Rune. Is going to be able to get some slowdown here onto Taiga. Not quite enough for the Cold Feet to be able to latch, but he will just keep slowing him down, keep on laying in those right clicks. Boxy's on the high ground here. They're going to toss him over. Taiga's already gotten a bottle hit over from Boxy. Maybe that's enough to keep him alive. Taiga now throws down the Fissure right as he gets in tier 1 tower range. Fights him a little bit. Not going to win the man fight. Oh, he will. He wins the man fight off of the bottle and stick charges. No stick charges. Just bottle and tango, I guess. Well played by Boxy with the bottle.
Yeah, and to your point to this one-on-one matchup, like, I'm really surprised that they thought that this was going to go okay. I mean, I guess the Tide can recover. Like, that's the good news about this hero, but this is not an easy life.
No, not at all.
I mean, he just gets bullied at every turn. Plus, the worst part of it is, like, you get sticky like 3 times, you have to back out anyways. He just doesn't have to hit you.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to trigger your Kraken Shell. Like, he can just passively win the lane like that. There's, like, multiple ways this Batrider just kind of dumps on you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think for the pace of the game overall is okay, though.
Great turn by him onto Innocence. Good read. And great bottling from
Plus,
Boxy.
the AA walked forward like half an inch because he thought that I think Taiga was going to run into the tree line, so he had no chance of getting an extra hit off on top of that.
Yeah. The threshold reset timer is only 6 seconds. And sticky napalm lasts for how long? I mean, either way, he could just keep on sticky napalming you. So, yeah, he could just not hit you for 6 seconds. Or, again, at level 1, Kraken Shell is a damage threshold of 600 damage. Tide only has like 650 damage or HP at level 1.
He doesn't do very good against Jug either, because Jug just spins on top of you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And his ulti is fantastic versus you as well as Boxy. He's gonna try to force Innocence to use that shrine, I think. He's just kind of running circles around him, and that'll force the TP from the Tiny, and he does get the shrine usage.
Okay, can he toss him over to the Tide? He does manage to get that much, but it looks like Boxy... Oh, he ran out of Firefly, so he's going to go for the TP out. Smart read by Boxy. He gets away. Well done.
There's also a bounty rune there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows about that, but there is just like a casual...
6.5 minute bounty rune?
The downside of it is that...
Oh, picks it up at 6:32.
What hurts about this is the fact that he used a shrine, but they popped the ulti mid, Quakefa, trying to do damage to this tower, and that's why Taiga's also coming in, because he's anticipating some movement from EHOME. Xingqiu comes mid.
See top lane, Boxy's in trouble. The Cold Feet is not going to actually latch him. It was so close there. It was just about to go in.
Dude, this is creating a lot of space for Mickey.
Yeah,
There's literally no one at bottom lane, and they're getting their mid lane taken out. And that's why the big bad Tidehunter's going to come in.
Trying to commit right now to catch up to Quakefa, but...
This is just making Mickey's game even better.
Yeah. Neverend does not have his ultimate right now, so if all of the heroes rotate out of his lane, fortunately he managed to juke out Boxy for a little bit. Does manage to keep the sticky napalm stacks, and now he's got a Firefly over to Neverend. He's in big trouble. They do have the Ancient Apparition who's coming over. Taiga's going to be able to block him in once again. Taiga, right place, right time. Always to be able to find these pickups.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any... It's not better for Wraith King.
Yeah.
As
now we're going to see that exactly what you were talking about. The spin on Faith Beyond, the extra damage from the Oracle. Just so much magic damage burst. And thinking about going for that Omni Slash, will be able to close rank with Xingqiu. Tries to get to the creep wave.
This is not a lane that
not in time.
Really anybody wanted to be in when he had his ulti there.
No.
And that was also the TP that was committed from the Tidehunter. So now Faith Beyond has to walk back to wherever he's going. He's 1 in 4. He's got to walk back everywhere he goes. Because remember, he TP'd top to save that tower.
Yeah.
Or mid to save that tower. And I'm okay with that move, but effectively, like, he's just putting himself into like a bigger hole every time he makes a move like that.
Right. A plus side for EHOME, William.
Yes.
Look at the Medusa. When she fires her multi-shot, she gets that pretty projectile shot on every single one of the hits.
Dope.
That's an upside you can really focus on, you know?
I mean, actual upside, though, is that she should just be able to farm out this triangle area. It's like these two... It's like half of a triangle.
It's a good Dusa game, right?
Yeah.
You have a bunch of heroes that are pretty dependent on being able to burst a hero down. The only hero that's really, really good against Batrider or Medusa is Batrider, right?
So they're going to take this mid tower. Yeah, I think Bat's sick against the Medusa.
But Juggernaut and Death Prophet, not as good, right?
I mean, I think DP's all right because she gets on top of that as Taiga's just going to come in here
and block him out. Boxy Does have the lasso, not going to go for the kill though, because the rotation from Faith Beyond managed to cut him with the Ravage. Boxy from the low ground also getting hit by the Tiny. Now they're going to try and catch up with Taiga here. There is, I'm not sure where the Wraith King's going. You can cut him off, my dude. Cut him off. Get him.
And it starts early on as they go for the 5-man. This time, though, I accept it, because that would have been a kill on your Dusa otherwise.
Yeah.
But that did commit the Ravage, and it just continues to make Mickey's game a lot better overall.
Mickey is having a brilliant game. 5,000 net worth already.
Anytime anybody comes to his lane, they die.
Yeah.
And half the time, nobody's in his lane. So it's just like a treat when somebody comes through and tries to do something about him.
And a Juggernaut who's ahead, I mean, he can get a really fast Manta Diffusal. Is that the build you go this game?
Yeah, for sure. It's really nice against the Dusa.
Yeah. So that like Juggernaut, who I feel is not an effective hero against Medusa, actually turns into
secure the bounty runes here as
they're going to push back or try and push back. Jinq tries to go for the dive, does manage to pick up that bounty rune. So much like Taiga, who's willing to suicide earlier for it.
That's a level 4 Tiny.
Yeah, what do you care about your life? He's already alive.
He actually is.
He really is.
He just straight up, he pops back up, no problem. Pops that tome
He needed
too.
to go back to base for the tome anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys fell right into his trap.
Morons.
You gave him the experience he needed. You fools. Oh, look at this.
The scary part,
synergy.
Though, is it's really just Mickey having the easiest time of all.
Yeah.
He is so far ahead of anybody, and that has just been because EHOME has largely avoided him like the plague in like that time where they just kind of donated their lives. And he's got ulti again at bottom too, so Faith Beyond can't even play aggressively on him.
Yeah. The heat map literally has had to go nowhere.
Yeah, it's actually sick. This is the dream safe laner game. Plus, they took the safe lane tower before they take this top tower, and Taiga got ulti. Should go down here as Never End. He's going to pop the boys.
They're still going to try and catch him. Boxy is going to go for Innocence. Doesn't really want to go for Never End here. Just wants to kill the support, get him down into the river. Doesn't quite make it, though. Jinq.
Oh, Never End almost.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a bad place to die and have your revive.
I actually thought that Mickey was going to TP up there, too, and they take the fight.
Yeah.
Even with the Wraith King ulti, I think you probably win that fight because Ferrari doesn't want to TP up there. Like, I don't think the Dusa can really do anything. Like, he might pick up a level of his ulti now, but he didn't have it before then. And it's not like she has any items to begin with. She just picked up the Yasha as well.
They're going to smoke up to top. Now Mickey is going to show up. So your idea is still...
Yeah.
Alliance is still going to follow through on that. But it's going to be deep smoke. They're actually not going to try and protect their tower. They're going to rotate over to mid where their Medusa's already pushing. They'll run into Boxy. This is a really big kill. If they can get it, and it should be able to as well with the Ice Blast, making it so Boxy just gets bursted down so quickly. Now they can try and head into mid, see if they can get some damage there, or they're going to try and defend their tier 2 at top. We'll have to see. As Alliance is just going to keep marching down the lane with the Exorcism. Still plenty of time there.
From EHOME. It again is that thing where they go for those kills as like 3.
Yeah.
But it's just a one-off kill on a Batrider. He's got pretty good net worth, but you lost a tier 1 tower during that time.
Do you think they could have defended top?
I think if you just plant your Tidehunter there and you have your Dusa now ready to TP with their ulti, I think now it's okay. The previous time I wasn't okay with it because she didn't have ulti and she didn't really have anything, but she completed her Yasha.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. I can kind of see EHOME's point as well that Tidehunters had such a bad game that that like when you've had a bad game as Tidehunter and sometimes you stand in front of towers, you just get bursted down and like maybe you do Ravage, but
that's true too.
It feels like it's ineffective. Seems like they want to wait for the Blink Dagger timing. Faith Beyond is trying to rush right now. Boxy.
And they need a way to get on top of this this DP plus the other heroes. I think it's a very good item pick up this game to go first. Because oftentimes you see like the Greaves and the mech, but I think he sort of realizes his place in the game. It's like, I'm actually really far behind.
Yeah.
I'm not near normal items.
He just needs to set up for the Ice Blast, right? And that'll help counter so much of Juggernaut, Death Prophet. I mean, that's a classic duo. Even before there were certain skill changes, Exorcism plus Healing Ward was just a go-to combo. So if he can actually get the setup there for the Ice Blast to go in.
Especially on the DP. Like, that should be enough damage to just blow her up straight up with the Gush on top of that, too. Which is why Quakefa is deciding to go for the Yules instead of... We often see... It's usually just the choice now. It's a 50-50 whether you go for the Yules or going for the Aghanims.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And just
Oh,
from
yeah.
a survivability standpoint, as
Ice
mid
Blast
lane,
coming in. There is going to be that Magic Immunity saving Taiga and actually managing to get a 3-man fish right into the Echo Slam. That's going to be the Ancient Apparition dead. Boxy trying to go for Ferrari 430, but he already activated that Stone Gaze. Instead, they're going to turn towards Neverend, who still has his reincarnation. Now Faith Beyond's here, and he does have the
he got
Ravage. He
stunned
wants to
up.
blow with the stun onto the Juggernaut. They do have the follow-up. Look at that tiny toss as well with the double damage hits. It's not quite enough, though. Koifa pushes back EHOME. They blew everything they had, and Chain Stun did pretty well too with the tiny toss being able to get the 3rd stun in, but it still wasn't enough. Instead of killing the Juggernaut, they fail to get that kill. He goes back to farming. They lose Faith Beyond.
oh, that was almost really bad.
Oh, man.
They just didn't have enough damage as Mickey. I mean, he spun out with like 100.
Yeah.
They didn't really have any way to follow up as Taiga. He's trying to trap out, and instead,
And we'll be able to Boxy?
I think Boxy's dead.
Boxy is, he managed to get out the
Now he's
last
gonna get
tick of the
tossed.
avalanche, but it's going to be a toss forward, a little bit more damage. He actually goes for the lasso to stop the damage from Innocence. It's still not enough.
The good news is they did pick up a bounty rune, which does mean that Taiga now has his Blink Dagger.
Okay.
He's played very well on the Surf
Yeah.
Shaker, by the way.
Oh, I mean, he's a 4 position that has a blink before the tied 3 position has gotten his. And as we said, Faith Beyond
Hey,
is trying
Faith
to rush
Beyond's
it.
had a rough life.
Faith
Let's,
Beyond is... Yeah.
This has been a rough game. Especially when that top situation happened, and then when he
Yeah.
died in mid or bottom, and then he had to walk down. He's had to walk half his time as bottom lane.
They're going to jump in. Fisher out, controlling
Mickey's looking
Jin
for more.
Q, just stay on top of him, and they are going to look
Look
for
at
more.
that.
You're right, they're just chasing out. Good play by Mickey to find the extra kill on Innocence.
He put it on. Insania put the purge on the jug.
Yeah,
He
just
didn't have
ran him
vision.
down.
Yeah. And it's a nice combo, especially with the drums phase.
Oh, he's going Maelstrom instead on Mickey.
Okay. I would have thought he'd really like the Diffusal. It works
Yeah.
against both heroes.
Yeah.
It's nice against the Wraith King and the Dusa.
Yeah, when you're ahead like this, I feel like super good. If you're behind for some reason, of course,
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
don't go for it.
It works
but
for like all 3.
It's good versus Tide too.
Yeah, because Tide's got. I mean, this is a Tide that's got 447 mana. He's not. Dude, he can't commit to Arcane Boots either. That'd be the best reason why.
Yeah.
As well, because he decided to go for the phase. This is the Vlad Solar Crest build that he's going for instead, and they might even just go high ground here.
Yeah, just go for it. You got the healing ward out. You know they don't have Ravage for a little bit longer, so
They're gonna pop the glyph, and people are gonna start TPing in. They need the Dusa in front.
Ice Blast heading in. That'll help make it out. They actually do manage to catch Taiga, so if they can get that kill and then quickly go back to defending bottom, they just got hardcore debated. Well, that was awkward. That was
Tower is under attack.
what did they think the Medusa was doing? That was a Medusa illusion, right?
Oh, they might even go top lane, Mickey.
Oh,
Maybe
they really
on-
stuck
he's got
it out,
stunned.
huh? They didn't expect that one. The Ravage follow-up. This time, no, there is not going to be an opportunity to kill Mickey because Insania was there. Stopped all the magic damage with the Fate's Edict and now Jin Q. Ooh, Insania. That was a sick read by him because I thought that was a sick move by EHOME.
I thought it was too, and I mean, EHOME thought they had a free kill. That's the second time they tried to go on this jug with this like low percentage play.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was really well set up by them.
Yeah, like you're pushing in tier 3. You're expecting EHOME will go back and defend.
Yeah, that was just a great read by EHOME, but an even better one by Alliance. That's how you think about a move like that. Like
Yeah.
I don't hate on either team for that.
Right.
I think it was a high execution play that didn't go their way, but I'm not sad that they made it.
Well, with this Maelstrom build, it will mean Mickey has a farming item that he will be able to hopefully stay ahead of this Medusa, who has closed in. I remember there was a time where he was like 2,000 net worth ahead. They do manage to
they had no
find
way.
him, but they had no way to stop it.
Yeah. I thought he had bad ulti, but of course he did use it to pick up.
Well, they do kind of have to worry about this Medusa, who is now 9,000 net worth. Alliance is not ahead by much. It's 17-9, only up by 1,000 net worth. You could see Medusa's just played out mid, played out that triangle farm over and over again, and I feel like that's the big push that you always have to make.
I mean,
as a team playing against Medusa is getting control of that triangle.
Part of the problem with Alliance right now is that Koikva has had to sacrifice a lot of his game by just
they
going for
found
these
Taiga
Hotmans.
again. And this is right at a time that Alliance were looking to be able to take Roshan, but they got stopped by the Ice Blast. So this is an exorcism wasted, and Taiga's now dead for 20 seconds.
Yeah, Koikfa has largely been the rotator for his team, which has meant that, yeah, they've picked up some towers, but his overall net worth has suffered as a result, and the Wraith King who's decided to go for the greedier Midas build. And it's now EHOME flipping their play from game 1 completely with Alliance, because it's Alliance that are actually going for the 5-man, and EHOME with their Midases and Blinks, they're just sort of splitting the map nonstop. So we're seeing a complete 180.
I thought seeing this draft that EHOME was going to play similar to game 1.
Yeah.
Where they were going to do a lot of 5-manning around their Medusa and Tide Hunter.
Nah, this time I think they've adapted.
Yeah. Just don't let Alliance outfarm you. Is that the lesson we've learned?
Hey, Alliance really like to play these mid-game lineups. Like that is their bread and butter. So if you can avoid that, kind of frustrate them, force them to make these maneuvers, I think as a team, like you just slightly outgreed them.
Gonna be able to grab the fast kill onto Y. As they tried to TP onto the shrine and go for some bounty runes, but bounty runes still being split evenly, 2 for 2. Boxy trying to recover some farm. Insania once again trying to make the read of where EHOME's going to go for a kill and where he can be to defend against that. He's not actually correct this time, though. EHOME have backed up, playing their side of the map. A Desolator complete for the Wraith King. So that means like a lot of split pushing power if you can get the skeletons out on a tower with the Desolator. He is actually going to go for the solo kill onto Taiga. Now, he does have an Echo Slam if he really needs it, but looks like he should be okay. As kind of expected, a solo kill is not really going to happen for a Wraith King.
He was close-ish. Get like 3 crits in a row, maybe? Who knows?
Just magically. Only critical strikes.
Bang, bang.
Another Blink Dagger for EHOME. Another source of initiation as Jin Q completes his. And so they now have multiple heroes. 3 different Blink Daggers, all to be able to jump in, set up these Ice Blasts. Try and win the initial part of the engagement and then fall back on the Medusa's damage over time.
The Aghanim is now pretty much complete by Koikfa. Yes.
That's it's pretty big. Both for it's a good farming upgrade. Great for team fights, just based off of stats. The sustain offered by these little ghosts coming out whenever you throw a Crypt Swarm and hit multiple heroes. 3-man smoke up, though, from EHOME. They feel like they've got really good execution with their multiple Blink Daggers, their heavy amount of burst damage that can come out from a tiny, plus this Desolator Wraith King, but the smokes are going to run into each other. Who's going to make the jump first? It's going to be Boxy, who managed to grab Innocence. No Ice Blast here if they can actually get the silence, which they do from Koikfa. Blow up. Oh, the Ravage goes down. Is Innocence going to last long enough? He can throw off the Ice Blast, throws it, but he misses. Okay, he kind of caught Koikfa. He's still getting a little damage, but EHOME couldn't really follow up on that one. They traded Boxy for Innocence so far, but it looks like Jin Q, he is going to be caught as well. Does a lot of damage to Mickey, and they are going to turn, maybe? Oh never end. He tried to get it there, missed the stun, doesn't really get a big crit out either, and it looks like that's going to be his first reincarnation. Second life. Faith Beyond, can he do anything to save him? I don't think so. They're just going to use him up in the air, surround him.
He went so hard in for Mickey, and the crazy part is he almost got him.
I mean, he almost got him, yes, but at the same time, Insania was always ready to go with his ult. So I feel like it was just
it was kind of a low percentage play.
Low percentage play. He would have to surprise crit the shit out of Mickey. And
Insania would have
to be slow.
Oh, the Ice Blast coming over the top again. This time, though, I don't know if Alliance is going to be very deterred from finishing this up. There's still 80 seconds on their Tidehunter Ravage. And this is the downside of when you're tied so under farm like this, is he can't frontline for you. He doesn't really have farm. He really just becomes a Ravage machine.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to go for this build instead of things for like the Greaves.
Yeah.
You have to just beef up your Medusa. Your own game, I think, at this point has been so ruined.
Well, I mean, it is turning into a good game. Like, feels like we keep on watching Alliance and like, oh, look at this, Alliance making all these cool plays and winning fights. Still only 1,000 net worth up. And we now have an Eye of Scotty for Medusa.
I mean, 430 has just been, you know, he's like, guys, you can take all these terrible fights. Like, I'm going to hit creeps.
He's channeling his days of 2012.
I
What's
like
that? I need to carry my team. Yeah.
I like that he hasn't like hard committed to any fights. he hasn't put himself in a position where he can just get jumped on.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes it's one of those things where it's like you commit to a fight, your entire team commits, but it's a losing endeavor, and Alliance's lineup will chase you down. That is something that their lineup does so well. And so Ferrari 430 has just decided, I'm splitting up. If a fight looks bad, I'm out. Like, you guys are on your own. When Neverend went in, he was like, that is definitely a you thing.
Throws out a couple skeletons, see if he can get some damage on the tier 2 for free. Alliance, though, we're already in position.
I do like his build, by the way, on this Wraith King. I think that Neverend is gone for this build, and it'll take towers really quickly.
Yeah.
Plus the skeletons. He didn't opt for the skeleton damage talent, which I actually am
disappointed.
I think I'm growing really fond of.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. Especially in this game where you're trying to actually play a bit more of a split push, but
I'm not a big fan of the 2x skeleton spawn one, unless it's one of those games where no one has
any AoE clear.
Or if they have mana drain.
Yeah, no mana drain whatsoever.
I mean, if I saw that, the problem is, like, if I saw that and I'm Juggernaut, like, I would just hard switch to a Diffusal.
Just look at the way that EHOME's playing this bottom lane and just chilling out in the trees. Pop out again. You know, they're just trying to constantly, if they can, force Alliance down to this lane because it's the farthest possible position that Alliance could be away from the Dire base and away from where the rest of the EHOME cores wants to farm.
I mean, they don't want them to use this Aegis, and if they do, they want to make it a trade.
Yeah.
And that might actually be what happens as their posture towards bottom. Neverend's going to pop the Skellies.
Few more Skelly boys out. Trying to push him in, but this time it looks like Taiga is going to spring the trap, catch out Jin Q. And maybe he's going to get caught. Neverend's going to go for this kill. They do have the Tidehunter on his way, and Sania throws out that false promise, and looks like we are going to heal that Earthshaker up to full. So EHOME managed to force some small rotations, but don't really trade tier 2 for tier 2.
That is an ideal situation for Alliance. They read that very well because you could see what EHOME was going for. They were trying to say, like, either you come back or we just trade.
Yeah.
And they're okay with trading because of the Aegis. And they know at this point they can't really fight. All EHOME's trying to do right now is force the game later and later, get it into a position where the Dusa can get 6-slotted, where she matches up very well against these cores.
There's that Solar Crest going to work on the Medusa. Finally, they are going to commit more heavily for this tier 2, but Alliance, they're going to say, okay, fine, you can have that now because we're going to take mid-tier 2.
Now it's a 2-for-1 trade, yeah. And the mid-tier 2 is obviously just, when it comes to like how much more it controls on the map, it's just more valuable. And it's harder to take because of the angle that you can come down on from the shrine.
Yeah.
So being able to take that tower, you take out all the tier 2s now, you should get full map control out of this.
Yeah, once you take the tier 2 bottom and mid away from Dire side, there goes that triangle.
Yeah, the triangle
it's so hard to control at that point.
Because you don't know where their ward vision is. And
Yeah.
It becomes just so much scarier.
You could see, like, EHOME have massively de-warded that triangle area. It's costing them 3 different sentries to throw around just to try and make sure there's no high ground vision because of all that lost map control of these early towers.
Of course, there is some upside here for them is because they took the tier 2, they can just farm out Alliance's jungle.
Yeah. And that's
And what Alliance should do then is they smoke into their own jungle. The downside of this fight is they don't have vision. They're sort of doing this blind.
Yeah.
But they're connecting to their core that has Aegis right now.
Oh, they're going to try and blow up. Oh, they may be able to get him. Okay, there goes that Aegis.
Now get out.
Full retreat from EHOME. This will ruin the smoke, and last box he can get there in time, and he does. Managed to grab Jin Q. Neverend. Look at him. He's like, I don't want to be a part of this fight. I'm just TPing away until a Fisher comes in and stop that TP. And this is what Alliance wanted out of this one. They baited Mickey very well. Blink out, not going to happen. Neverend couldn't get it in time. They catch 3. Very important they catch the Wraith King in that situation. And 430 does what, honestly, the only thing he can. He pushes out mid lane, he tries to farm the other side of the map, and prepares for what is going to be an inevitable high ground push from Alliance at some point.
They should go for this. Even if they don't know it, the Wraith King doesn't have buyback, but forcing it at this point would be ideal.
Yeah. And, I mean, they know he doesn't have... his reincarnation is only level 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they
still
know that's
85
on
seconds.
cooldown for a while.
So even if he did have buyback, this would be a really good situation for Alliance to try to do something with, and so they go for the high ground attempt.
The Exorcism up to...
There is a
didn't
glyph.
even realize they didn't have to blow that. They're going to blow the glyph now. 5 seconds for the Wraith King. So there's going to be a small window where Alliance can finish up this tier 3, not have to worry about a team fight as the Ice Blast goes down. If they can reset off of this...
You saw what they were going for there. Their Tide was in position. They were trying to do like
Yeah.
the instant. because now he doesn't have Aegis on Jug.
But now with no Ice Blast, they can kind of go back in. Koifa going to be dispelled off of that purged away.
I think they'll just
cold
back
feet.
and take the shrines.
Yeah.
This is a situation that's very precarious, especially against Dusa. You don't want to overcommit, and they don't have Exorcism up anyways. And this might actually mean that EHOME look for fight.
Yeah, but unless they get Innocence picked off first, they don't have the... Oh, he throws the Ravage down. I'm not sure if this is a fight they actually can take. Neverend goes in. They do have a very blocked off Koifa right now who needs the help of the Oracle. Now the Echo slam onto 3. That's going to control up everyone. Ferrari 430 is totally out of mana. He just took so much damage from Mickey and Taiga's Earthshaker combined. He does have a buyback, but... This is going to be trouble for EHOME as Innocent's going to die back now.
What an echo.
Faith Beyond is probably going to get caught now as he gets rooted out by Boxy. He was sitting on top of the shrine, healed up earlier, will be able to make it back to his base on time. Here comes those buybacks. It's going to be one out from the Medusa. And another one, or excuse me, that was from earlier. Innocence was the other buyback, but obviously he's still dead after his dieback for 45 seconds without the Ice Blast. They can't fight Alliance, and Alliance knows it. They're going to go for their bottom lane of Rex. Again, I don't think you need to get greedy. Just go back, take shrines. I mean, you're up by 9,000 net worth.
Dire's bottom shrine is under attack.
There is no need to take any more risks.
You just go for the next Roche.
Yeah.
You own the entirety of the map, use all of EHOME, like use the majority of their buybacks too. Alliance are in a really good position right now to win this game.
I just strongly disagree with how that... The moment that Alliance gets the initiation and Faith Beyond isn't getting a... I'm ravaging, hitting Death Prophet, plus I'm getting the Oracle in the back line situation, you know?
Yeah.
And we're also not getting like the instant Ice Blast to blow up the Death Prophet or something like that. Like, I just disagree with that decision-making, I guess, on the fly from Faith Beyond.
I mean, this Deuce actually died way too fast.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate her to be that paper. I guess they're just that far behind. She doesn't really have backup from the rest of her team.
Yeah.
Like, never end... The point of Wraith King is that you're supposed to be so scary, right, with your first life, so that you don't even want to deal with the second one, but I mean, they just kind of ignore him. He's supposed to... This build, I think, the idea behind it is to be able to deal with the Jug even when he's spinning.
Yeah.
But it requires like 3 more items. He needs a Basher.
If he had AC like 5 minutes ago, then maybe.
Is under attack.
And he is going to commit to the no buyback, just all in for it.
Yeah,
Dire's
as he probably should.
Yeah, but there's a DD rune here.
No.
That is... The Roshan will spawn in 2 minutes. So that's the upside right now for EHOME, is that there's no Roche to immediately take this with.
Yeah, the Alliance are... I'm not sure if they're going to feel comfortable going high ground again, right?
I mean, they might.
Would you? With Roshan, like, if you lose this fight, what if Roshan spawns right as you lose that fight? EHOME takes that as well.
You could just wait for the Roshan, then, because this is a bottle DD. Like, you can chill.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about that one. Just take the Roshan, learn from like Secret and stuff, and just secure the advantage more and more.
Yeah. So there's a minute left. Roshan comes up. You take Roshan, then you just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And at best, like, what's going to change from EHOME? They're going to have Butterfly and AC. Those will be like the big differences in their power.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference.
Not really.
It's going to come down a lot more to execution for EHOME and whether or not they can get the kind of initiation they need. They need to be able to stop this. They either need to get a fast enough kill that Oracle can't get there in time to be able to save him with the False Promise, or they need to be able to get to the back line and catch the Oracle with these stuns. Tiny needs to jump on top of them. They need to either, you know, hit a core and hit the Oracle with the Ravage. Some sort of smoke wraparound, you know, not one of those just run straight through. Because Alliance has done very well for themselves, and they did that in Game 1 as well. Their positioning of their heroes for team fights is always really good, where they always had their 2 frontliners. They always had Boxy in front.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other core? Was it Sven or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sven. Mickey Sven. So it felt like EHOME could never poke at the right heroes.
I think they're going to lose this game if they give up Roche.
Yeah. So for EHOME, for them to win this game. They need to smoke out, go for it.
I think it's honestly like a really rough situation. Because if you smoke out and take a fight and you don't instantly blow up the jug, he's got DD rune. And he's going to tear you to pieces.
Yeah.
Like this DD rune,
Oh,
you don't even need it to secure the high ground because you'll secure the Roshan with it.
They also need like that magical perfect smoke timing.
Yeah.
Where they don't know if Roshan's up or not, but they just need to be able to smoke into the pit at the perfect time, and you can see it's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's just, even if they have an inkling of it, they have no ward vision anyways. So they would essentially just be playing blind. Now you give up the Aegis. There's a fully completed MKB now from the jug.
Yeah.
Like,
So there
life
goes
just
that
gets
butterfly
harder and harder.
advantage. And Ferrari 430 is like, well, this game is looking impossible to win. Only way I'm going to win is a Divine Rapier.
I like it. I genuinely think that if he doesn't have the Rapier, I don't see a way that they can win the fight. It would have to be Alliance messing up like massively.
Yeah.
Insania's positioning on the map would have to be so bad that he has no chance to save. And you immediately burst like 2 heroes and turn it into a 3-on-5. That's the best way that I could see this going, is you have to get the backline, kill Insania.
All right, what about a like secret agent behind enemy lines kind of play where our Tiny just like goes deep and around and his job is to hunt the Oracle, you know?
Okay, I like it. That
It's like
I mean, it sounds crazy if I'm honest, but I'm down.
he's Tom Cruise, you know? This is your mission.
If you choose to accept. Oh, they're going to pop it. Quakefa's just going to walk into the high ground.
Well.
He wants to use this Arcane Rune. And Jinkyu.
Oh, that wasn't the toss back they were hoping for.
Yo.
Well, I mean, that's a dead creep.
Bruh.
That creep is very dead.
That was the freest initiation I think Boxy's like ever had in his life.
He was like, wow.
That, okay.
You
That's just a
blinked into
gift.
me. Okay, all right.
He's like, that's new.
All right, well now they're going to try and poke at the Death Prophet right now, but again, the Oracle's always in that back line, so they can't really fully commit. They lose their range racks. Did they lose... Oh, they lost their bottom racks as well from that creep wave pushing.
Okay, so they lose effectively 2 racks. And yeah, they use the buyback on Jinkyu. They're going to pick up all these bounty runes too. They didn't even know were there. And because of the Arcane Rune, I mean, his ult's up in 40 again, and they can just make the play. I don't think the timing of this gets that much better for Alliance as time goes on. That is the upside for EHOME.
Yeah. So we just... Either EHOME just need to be able to hold out for a while, or they could go for a smoke while they know Exorcism is on cooldown. See if they can get some sort of fast pickoff.
It's up in 20 though. They're trying to go for the wraparound, thinking that Taiga might have been in this area being greedy, but this is actually disastrous. They need to go back now.
Mickey's like, what's going on? There's nobody inside the base. All right, guys, I'm just hitting melee barracks.
He's like, this isn't normal, but you know what? It's free.
It's free real estate. All right, there's the toss back that they wanted. They're immediately going to be able to get lasso onto the Tiny.
He's
and
in a
Mickey
buyback.
honestly just spun away so quickly. No buyback on Jinkyu means now 4 versus 5 for EHOME. And there was still that Aegis on Mickey, so it's not even like that first life is much of a problem. Mickey's taking a lot of damage, sure, but they can reset if they want, or
That's
they
all
can
the mana
commit to
down
this
on the
Melee
course.
Barracks, and quite he wants to commit with the Aghanim Scepter, and he's got it. We'll be able to finish it off.
He even pops the cheese because he's running a little bit low, and Insania pre-used the ulti, thinking that the Tidehunter was going to go in during that time, and 40 seconds left on the Tiny. They still have Aegis. Mickey's just going to run in here, force the issue.
Mickey can kind of chill here. Well, they're going to go for it. They only have 3 heroes here right now, so Neverend, this is a great opportunity for EHOME if they want to be able to go for the Ravage in the back line, trying to blow up the Oracle. They do manage to take the first life of the Juggernaut as well. See if they can get round 2 here. As he pops the Manta, there's going to be the outside Echo Slam coming out for Taiga, locking down the 2 cores. That's exactly what they needed. Here comes the buyback out from the Medusa with the second life of Neverend here. They can actually catch some of these heroes. Taiga being slowed down. Faith Beyond, he's telling his team right now, like, we got to catch somebody. But EHOME did not feel confident enough to be able to take that, so...
That was one of their better opportunities they were going to get. No Omni Slash, no Echo Slam. But I think he realizes, too, like, his team just doesn't have the items right now. Like, they don't have the items. They don't have the farm. Not really a whole lot that they can do to continue that chase. Like, you're not killing Mickey. He's got 2,800 HP.
Yep.
But the DP ult will eventually come back up in 40 seconds. That was the buyback on the Dusa, so got a lot further away from the Rapier.
An AC for Death Prophet next. So she's going to be super tanky against all that physical damage of the Wraith King and the Medusa. 32-12, 40-minute mark closing in. At least Neverend is close to his nullifier. I'm not entirely sure what a difference that's going to make, though. Mostly because there's still the save of the Oracle.
Yeah. That time around, though, you could see what a successful teamfight could potentially look like. It's getting on top of Insania.
Yeah. Got to be able to hit him with the Ravage. Bounty runes all around. 24,000 net worth lead. That's the other big thing about just securing your advantage. There's going to be opportunities, especially with the double power runes coming out. You're going to get a double damage at some point. It's going to spawn. And you can bottle that one up. Try and take the fight in the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That is how Dota works.
The rich get richer. Very bourgeois concept.
Time for a revolution.
So Mickey now has his Abyssal, I believe, that's coming to him. He is so stacked. He's going to pop the DD rune, run to top, connect to the rest of his team, and just be an absolute force.
There it is. The Abyssal. All right, well, EHOME, paint the picture for me, Blitz. How do they defend this?
Get to the top, or get to the back line.
Get to the back line.
You have to get Insania. That is the only way you win the fight.
Be nice if they could catch the full back line, just be able to burst down the Batrider and Earthshaker as soon as possible.
You have to get the supports out of the fight as fast as possible. Because it's too chaotic, I think, fighting against this Earthshaker on top of that as Mickey just runs
starting off, just trying to get the stun out from the Wraith King. That means an Ice Blast is going to be wasted, and they find the opportunity with Shingu being cooled in. They manage to get a really good Ravage. Boxy pops BKB. He's going to be fine. And Stone Gaze does manage to lock in this Death Prophet right now, who is in a bit of trouble. They still have the Echo Sand, plus the Echo Sand. That's going to wipe out Tidehunter. First life of the Wraith King. Going to be coming back in soon, but not fast enough to be able to save them. Do so. Who's now with a dieback in. That's just GG with the Omni Slash. The finishing touch from Mickey. Alliance will take game 3 and end up top of their group. Well done.
14-0-11 on this Juggernaut. He went completely untouched, but I think the real MVPs this game were the two top laners. Boxy and Taiga made it so that Faith Beyond could never have any sort of relevance in this game.
Yeah.
1-7-5 on this Tide.
Did you see that?
What?
That was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Insania and Mickey just did this little back and forth, like, fist pumping thing. Oh, I want that in the replay, please, production. That was adorable. Longtime teammates, Mickey and Insania, managed to pull out a Game 3 win for Alliance, and a very well-controlled one. I like the fact that they didn't rush things too much, secured their advantage more and more, especially against a respectable opponent in EHOME. I mean, EHOME, we're talking about EHOME, some of the interviews, the players were talking about, you know, EHOME is going to be one of the top teams that they have to worry about. It's them and Ninjas Pajamas were the two names that I heard the most of. It's Alliance being able to prove that they are maybe the more significant threat by beating them here on stage and coming out top of their group. It's a good start for their run here at StarLadder.
I did like the adjustment overall that EHOME made in the series.
Yeah.
It just was a little bit too late. Plus, like, the idea that they had of the Tidehunter versus the Batrider, that was just disastrous.
That was a bad idea. That
and the
was
thing is,
bad notes.
they've switched lanes so many times in this series that that was a conscious decision that they decided to make. That was okay
yeah,
for
dude,
them.
if EHOME wasn't happy with that one, you know they would have run it around and around until Alliance finally quit.
No,
But
they're like, actually, this is
yeah,
okay
this is
for us for
fine.
once.
I'm just sitting there watching Faith Beyond going, this is fine. This fire literally just burning all around him. This is fine.
And they kept trying to make
Okay.
the same initiation onto the Juggernaut.
Juggernaut, yeah.
And it was like, are you really going to burst this guy before he gets spin off and before Insania gets his ulti off on him?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. You can try for a third time with Ravage.
Especially with Insania, like, Insania was so consistent. in his positioning as Oracle. He even made some really good reads, as we talked about that cool little play that EHOME tried at top lane tier 2, completely countered by Insania's read on the game. And all around, Alliance, I mean, they've just been saying they've been getting better and better all the time. They prove it here at day 1 at StarLadder. We'll see if the panel agrees as we wrap out this final day of StarLadder.
In esports, we are still at the beginning, and giving context to data is super complex. Technology and stats and insights can really help doing that.